Jason did end up headbutting Dante, which was one of my favorite part of that episode because it was good to see Dante get headbutted, to be honest. What is up, General Hospital viewers? Well, if you want action on a soap opera, well, General Hospital provided action in yesterday's episode. We had a lot going on that I want to get into, but I do want to say that I am thankful to see some action on a soap opera, though I do still have a complaint and I do still have questions as to why we're doing certain things. But yeah, let's get into more of the action. Yesterday pretty much revolved around the main story except for, a couple of things. I'm going to talk about the action first, and then we will circle back to the things that had less action. I also want to start with, we see that Marco has been stabbed by Cullen at the beginning of the episode. At the end of Friday's cliffhanger, we saw Cullum walking into Marco's office being very suspicious, and it was a pretty brutal stabbing for Marco, as we saw at the beginning. Cullum taking Marco out because he realizes that Marco is the one that stole Britt's medication so that Britt could go on the run. Brennan, meanwhile, was visiting Britt or looking for Britt, but Nathan was there. Brennan was saying he needs to find Britt ASAP. Brennan was bringing up about how Nathan came home alive after being dead, allegedly having no memory. Brennan did some investigating of his own, looking into the missing years of Nathan's, and couldn't find anything. They end up realizing that Britt's clothing and luggage are missing and that she is probably on the run. Picking up from Friday's episode, we saw that Dante is telling Jason he needs to come in to the police station because Cullum from the WSB put a warrant out for Jason. Jason was saying he's not going anywhere. Dante needed Jason to hand over his gun, so he does, but that's when his son Danny sees what's going on and wants to know what's happening. Jason did end up headbutting Dante, which was one of my favorite part of the episodes. My favorite part of that episode because it was good to see Dante get headbutted, to be honest. And then he runs off telling Danny very dramatically not to follow him, and I love you, son. Honestly, I think Steve Burton had some good scenes yesterday. He had his action scenes. He had a fight later. His headbutt on Dante was probably his best part of the episode, though. Meanwhile, much like on Friday's episode, Rocco had followed Lucas and Britt to the pier, and Britt was telling Lucas she is leaving with Jason tonight. Rocco is overhearing all of this, but when Lucas left, Britt ran into Cullum, who stopped her from leaving. It was a good thing for Britt that Rocco did end up following her to the pier, because Rocco played a very important role in the mess that was to follow here. Cullum wanted Britt to get the meds. He was saying, "You have something that belongs to me." Wanted Britt to take the meds out of the bag, which he did. And then he put the vials of medication that keep Britt alive on the floor and stomped on them. Honestly, another good part of the episode. I think this is probably one of the first times since watching more consistently again over the past 4 months that I cared a little bit about Britt. I feel like the actress did a good job with her sadness and despair when Cullum stepped on the vials, because it's like Britt was finally about to get away and have the medication to keep her alive for at least a little while, and here he is stepping on him. So that was good. Rocco then ended up dropping his phone, I think, or he dropped something, which caused a distraction for Cullum because Cullum had a gun pointed at Britt. Britt was able to swat the gun away, and they ended up having a struggle, but then Britt was pushed, fell and hit her head on the way down. Cullum said that Britt is far more trouble than she is worth and was about to shoot her, when, of course, our anti-hero or hero, whatever he is these days, saves Britt by attacking Cullum. Jason and Cullum had their fight, which was good. I think both men did good during this action scene in fighting. I saw some people posting online that, Jason actually got his ass handed to him by Cullum. I didn't really see it that way. I feel like Jason got in far more shots than Cullum did. It's just that at the beginning of the episode, Dante took Jason's gun away, so he didn't have a weapon. Cullum had a gun that they fought over, and then he pulled out a baton and was about to start wailing on Jason. But when they were struggling for the gun and it went flying, Rocco ends up picking up the gun and shooting Cullum from behind, and I'm assuming likely killing Cullum, maybe. I don't know if I love that Rocco is the one to take out Cullum of all people. It actually kind of irks me when soap operas use kids in stories like this and the kid kills someone. It tends to be a cop-out in a lot of soap opera stories I've seen over the years. But I'm going to give it a chance and see how the aftermath plays out with Rocco being the one to do this. If Cullum dies, I really would like them to keep Marco alive then. Let's circle back to that at the end, and I'll give my opinion on all of that. At the beginning of the episode, Carly walks home into Valentin making a romantic dinner for him and Carly. He cooked an amazing meal and then had wine for her. He was saying they have the whole house to themselves, but she was worried that someone could have seen him when he was cooking in the kitchen and that someone could have came home with her and would have seen him. Carly would have liked a heads up. Valentin was wondering if Carly is upset because he cooked dinner or upset because they slept together. He said, "Don't worry, we'll never sleep together again," and he'll go eat in the attic. But she wanted him to stay and eat, so they did have their little romantic dinner together. I'm not opposed to this pairing. I mean, I think compared to a lot of the pairings I've seen on the show lately, the Carly and Valentin one does work for me a little more than others. Lucas ended up stopping by, though, so Valentin had to go, and Lucas went on and on about how him and Marco are about to move out, and they're going to be so happy together. Once again, I don't know if this is the show beating the drum so hard that Marco's about to die, because when Lucas was going on and on about how they're finally going to move out and be happy together, we pan to Marco fighting to get up after being stabbed and not being able to. He's still in his office. Alexis went to work with Danny after all of the drama with Jason. Alexis needed to contact Diane about everything that was happening. But Danny stopped Alexis from going into the office, so she has not found Marco being stabbed yet. But I think there's more drama in keeping Marco alive now if they killed off Cullum that I would like to see Marco survive. I also think it's better for Marco and Lucas's relationship because I do not want to have to watch Lucas and Brad get close again. That does nothing for me. But also, if they were going to kill off Marco, I think that they are killing off Cullum too soon. I mean, maybe Cullum won't die either. But if they kill off both of them, we are missing the drama from having Cullum still be alive after killing Marco and Sidwell finding out that Cullum killed his son. I think there would be some drama there. And I need this show to actually do a better job with Sidwell as a villain. I said this back in November and December when I was watching, and I feel like it was a little controversial. Love the actor that plays Sidwell. Don't really care for him as a villain, though. He's involved in too many things. And when a villain on a soap opera is involved in too many things, they actually kind of end up being less scary and actually mattering less. It's weird how that happens, but it does happen. And I feel like being involved in too much as a villain actually takes away from the character. Martin visited Laura today saying he might be leaving. He's going to be going to Reno for a job indefinitely. Laura was saying she'll be fine, don't worry. Sidwell visited Laura to let her know that Martin was assigned to a case because of him, because Martin had been getting too suspicious of Sidwell and Sidwell's involvement with Laura. Sidwell was once again bringing up his blackmail pictures of Laura and Sonny and the dead professor to keep Laura in line, to continue to make decisions as mayor that benefits Sidwell. Laura's doesn't want to keep going against a lot of the people in Port Charles. Sidwell was saying the people of Port Charles adore her and she hasn't reached her limit yet. And Sidwell kept reminding Laura that he sets the terms. And I do like Sidwell's blackmail on Laura and Sonny, I guess. But still, the story is so big. There's so many things happening. I feel like Cullum was actually the scarier villain, whereas Sidwell's just involved in too many things that they're kind of wearing him thin as a villain. And then the only other thing that happened was Brook Lynn and that baby, as Tracy called it at the beginning of the episode. Brook Lynn wants to refer to the baby as Phoebe. And Tracy is thinking that Brook Lynn is getting so close to this baby because Brooke and Chase were having difficulties, and this is like a way to cover that up. Brook Lynn was trying to explain to Tracy the connection she feels with Phoebe. I don't know where this storyline is going with Brook Lynn and Chase and the baby, but I don't see many exciting prospects for it. But I guess we needed something in this episode to be a little more grounded away from all the action. But the action was good. I still question some of the decisions with who's shooting who, like Rocco being the shooter. Who's going to die, Cullum and Marco. I feel like Cullum dying and Marco dying and them both dying is the wrong decision to actually get more drama out of this, like I explained earlier. But I'm excited to see what decisions this show makes the rest of the week. I doubt any episodes going on this week will be as exciting as this one. It did feel a little rushed. I wonder if that's because Steve Burton is going to be taking that vacation you've all told me about in the comments. But hey, it gave us one episode of some good action. I hope the aftermath and the follow through from this episode is equally as good.